the Colorado Christian University organized a rally to defend a religious baker who is seeking to undermine LGBT discrimination protections. And speaking at the event was a rabbi who compared gay people to space aliens. Jack Phillips of Colorado's Masterpiece Cake Shop is at the center of a case over anti-LGBT discrimination that is set to be heard by the Supreme Court. Phillips launched a legal challenge after being found in violation of state anti-discrimination laws for refusing to serve gay couple David Mullins and Charlie Craig. The baker earlier this year claimed that Jesus Christ would discriminate against gay people, and continues to insist his religion requires discrimination against gay people. Speaking at the Christian University, Rabbi Yaakov Menken of the Coalition for Jewish Values made the outlandish comparison. He said if space aliens were to land tomorrow, they would solve the problem. Now some of you probably think I'm nuts, but let me explain. Let's imagine E.T. lands tomorrow and someone falls in love with E.T. and decides to get married to E.T. Trust me, within 2 years the Supreme Court would decide that under the U.S. Constitution Sally, or Bill, could get married to E.T., but because aliens are not human beings, and despite what you've seen on Star Trek, it would be impossible for aliens and humans to have children together. That would be the biblical definition of marriage, and Jack Phillips would not be able to bake them a cake. And then it would be obvious that he's not discriminating against anyone. He's not singling out same-gender couples for exclusion. On the contrary, he is saying he can only celebrate a biblical marriage that involves a human man and human woman. And the ACLU would have to pack up and go home. Are your lawyers taking notes? Jack the baker refused to make a cake for the couple after he found out they were celebrating their wedding. The Supreme Court is set to weigh in on the case later this year, and it could have extreme knock-on effects for LGBT rights. It today set a December 5th date to hear arguments in the case. A ruling in favor of the baker could have a chilling effect on LGBT rights protections countrywide, and equality activists fear it may end up creating a license for homophobic discrimination based on religion. The case is expected to be close, with Trump's newly appointed Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch considered a firm vote for the baker's freedom to discriminate. The Trump administration itself has filed an amicus brief backing the freedom to discriminate. Trump's Justice Department claimed that a ruling against the bakery could create an intrusion against the First Amendment, where a public accommodations law compels someone to create expression for a particular person or entity and to participate, literally or figuratively, in a ceremony or other expressive event. 86 Republican members of Congress have also signed an amicus brief to the U.S. Supreme Court supporting the baker's right to discriminate. The gay couple in the case, David Mullins and Charlie Craig, have vowed to stand up for equality. They said this has always been about more than a cake. Businesses should not be allowed to violate the law and discriminate against us because of who we are and who we love. While we're disappointed that the courts continue debating the simple question of whether LGBT people deserve to be treated like everyone else, we hope that our case helps ensure that no one has to experience being turned away simply because of who they are. The American Civil Liberties Union and the ACLU of Colorado represent Mullins and Craig in the case. James Essex, director of the ACLU's LGBT project, said the law is squarely on David and Charlie's side because when businesses are open to the public, they're supposed to be open to everyone. While the right to one's religious beliefs is fundamental, a license to discriminate is not. Same couples like David and Charlie deserve to be treated with the same dignity and respect as anyone else, and we're ready to take that fight all the way to the Supreme Court. The baker is defended by hardline anti-LGBT law firm Alliance Defending Freedom, which has sought to undermine LGBT rights protections in a number of states. Though the ADF is framing the issue around a religious objection to same marriage, their other cases show a much wider support for licensing anti-LGBT discrimination. For instance, they have sued a school district over a transgender non-discrimination policy, and defended a T-shirt printer who refused an order from a pride celebration.